A good way to measure where your consciousness is, it's not the perfect thing, okay? It's not the thing. A good measure, though, to give you an idea, is where you live emotionally. What do I mean by that? If your daily emotional experience is sadness, depression, hate, grief, sadness, if that's where you are most of the time, that's where you live emotionally. That's an indicator that you're living in low consciousness. That's an indicator you definitely live in low consciousness. If every day you wake up and you wake up and you're living in courage, neutrality, love, peace, empathy, gratitude, grace, love. I think I've already said that one, right? Compassion. Ooh, that's high consciousness stuff, my friends. Now, notice I said earlier where you live. It does not mean that 100% of the time you need to be in those higher frequencies that I've just mentioned. Every once in a while, because those lower frequency emotions are valid and necessary for your experience. Because when you are sad, there's a reason for it. It's your emotions communicating to you through sadness that something is happening. You simply observe it. You don't suppress it. You let it flow. And sometimes you don't even know the reason why. You don't worry. You let it flow. You speak to your ancestors and the higher self, and you let that sadness flow. And you observe it and you accept it. Eventually it goes and you go back to the other ones. Wherever you spend most of your time, that's your house. Do not be delusionally positive. Like we've seen in the New Age. Oh, no. The negativity, you need to keep away from that 100%. Do not be that way. Yeah, those people are not truly awakened. You accept everything that comes, but you know that you're the master of your emotions, and you do whatever it takes to live in those higher emotions. And as you work on yourself, you will eventually live in love, compassion, gratitude, peace. Those are high frequency. Only great things are created when you're in those. So that's a good way to measure where you are in consciousness. What emotions you're in. Is that hard? No. You see how spirituality is simple? See how spirituality is simple? With that being said, your emotions are the most valuable things. Physical, because the only thing that makes you physical is this body, your emotions, and your physical mind, otherwise known as the psychological mind. Of the three things that make you physical, your emotions are the vehicle to your spiritual growth and evolution. Notice how there's all kinds of medications to keep you sedated and numb. Your entire emotional system shut down. That's the reason for it. Work through those emotions and eventually you will live in them. This is not to say that if someone is on some of these medications that you should immediately get off of it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to encourage you to find a way to wean off of them so that you can become the greatness you're here to be and not to be held down by the ones who are at war for your consciousness. Right? Absolutely not. So when the ingredients, the higher level consciousness are fortified and made possible by the better ingredients, which is only possible when you transform yourself. See, people talk about being alchemists. The most powerful, most important alchemist is the one who can alchemize themselves into higher levels of existence whilst being in the same body that was back there, wherever it was before, and bringing it up to a certain level. When you do that your consciousness becomes higher, meaning the level of the ingredients that you have to make the cake, your reality, right? Because we had the two corners. We had the cake corner and we had the consciousness corner. When we improve ourselves, then the consciousness, i.e. the ingredients that we are now available to us, the ingredients that are now available to us, are now higher than they were before. Then guess what you're going to create? A better life, a better experience, a better environment. Let's go over to the cake corner. Yeah. Your ingredients are of a higher quality, so you can make a better cake than the one you made before. Because the ingredients are better. You're even able to have things before that were not available down at that other neighborhood. When you drove out of the neighborhood to go to the place that gave you more variety, you found some new ingredients to kind of spicy up that cake. And the one you made before, no comparison. The one that you just made with the better ingredients is so good you cannot go back to ever eating that old cake again. It just will never do it for you. Let's go back to the consciousness corner. When you have transformed yourself to a higher level of consciousness and you start creating a life that starts bringing forth the things that you never thought were possible, the kind of prosperity you never thought was possible, the kinds of friends that you never thought would ever come along, the kind of opportunities that you were wondering where they were all your life. That's what the higher consciousness will start to bring in. Do you think you could go back to the old ways? No, you can't. And it's not like you can't. You're not going to want to. You're not going to want to. Because once you taste what it's like to be at a higher level of consciousness and to be one with your ancestors, your inner child and your spirit, then all of you as a team start creating a better reality, one after another time. And then what starts to happen, that starts to spread. And it doesn't just spread to the people you see and who know you, it spreads to people you will never meet. This is the important information for you to know. It'll spread to people you will never meet because your mind and your spirit are not restricted to your body. So when you go to sleep, that subconscious mind and that spirit of yours doesn't need sleep. It goes out and start taking its consciousness to other minds. And that's how it spreads. That's how it spreads. Then your focus will begin to shift. You will choose a different thing to focus on that you did before. Because those things that you focused on before will not be enjoyable because they will bring you back to the place you never want to go back to. So your focus will shift to the things that will keep giving and bringing what you've got. And then once you're ready, you do the other thing to raise your consciousness. Now, what happens after you've done all the inner work? You've connected to your ancestors. You've healed your ancestry. You've connected with your inner child. And you've healed your inner child. You're now one. Your intuition is on fire and everything. How do you raise the consciousness from there? Your purpose and your spiritual path and No, that's it. Your purpose and your spiritual path, which are one and the same. You start walking that spiritual path. And as you walk the path, your consciousness will naturally rise. Because then, when you're walking the path, you become the experiencer. And the experiencer is where your spirit wants you to be, where your ancestors want you to be. Experiencing the reality of why you came down here in the first place, as opposed to experiencing the reality that was created for you by those already here. There's a difference. If you experience the reality created for you, you will experience what someone else wants for you, and it'll be to their benefit. But if you experience the reality brought to you by your ancestors, and by doing the inner work, then it'll be yours that you experience. And when you're experiencing your reality, that's where the growth is. That's where the joy is. And that's where the evolution is. It's in your creation. And now, the situation that spirit created billions and trillions of years ago in our experience, or in our way of thinking about time, it's all to be able to get to the point that where you are right now. You have no idea how much time has gone into making human beings at the level that we are right now. Millions upon hundreds of millions of souls for one of you. Billions of years to create the situation and environment so that one of us can do what I've just talked about. Evolving and experiencing at a level where your spirit can have experiences that it's never had before. And your spirit is a being that is all-knowing, all-seeing, omnipotent, omniscient, and all of that. But because of you doing that, a being of that level can now expand. Because your spirit can't expand on its own at that level. It puts itself into a limited state so that it can do that. And you're the one. You are the one that does that. You're the one that does that. It's an amazing thing. But it's often hard for us to be amazed by who we are because we've been lied to so much. But you don't have to believe those lies, because the ability for you to find out who you are and find out about yourself exists. It exists today. And by raising your consciousness, you fulfill your purpose here. All starting with your spiritual awakening, which leads to you working on yourself, healing those traumatic experiences from childhood, healing all the things that have been done to you, healing all the things that you allowed to be done to you, connecting with your ancestors and healing your ancestral bloodline. And you have no idea how important, how huge that is for those of you who do it. And that all leads to raising your frequency and raising the level of your consciousness to where you can create at a level where there is no war, pain, or suffering. And when enough of us do that, and it's less than you think, then these people can't keep doing what they're doing. And because we're raising it, you see the ones that are trying to limit their consciousness and keep humanity enslaved and in pain and in suffering, they, not only can their deeds not exist, they can no longer exist here. Very important. Thank you so much, JC. If you're interested in joining our spiritual community, myspiritualtribe.com, or you can DM me, either one. And at the very least, sign up for our newsletter. The link is in the bio. If you don't know how to access that, just put it in the chat and we'll show you how to do that. It's real simple. Really simple. Very important. Very important. So, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Does everyone here knows what spirit is? And if you don't, just put a 1 in the chat. Consciousness. How to raise your consciousness. And if you've come here and you want to and you want to get this live, just DM me. I put it on my YouTube, and you can have the link, and you can get this from the very beginning as well. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here, sharing and liking the live. It's been fantastic. I'm going to give a review. What is spirit? Right? Because that's the title. Spirit is the consciousness, right, that has no form. Spirit is pure light. Spirit is pure light. And it is the ultimate mind. Again, spirit, consciousness, these things are very difficult to explain. And so I will do the best I can. But even the best I can is not really going to hit it square bullseye. But it'll give you an idea, right? So if you could think of a spirit as being a formless light with an infinite mind, that would be an accurate description of spirit, right? Now, there are different kinds of spirit, and not all spirits are equal, which is why your spirit, the human spirit, is so envied by so many others. And we simply need to see who these others are by looking at the behavior of those who carry those spirits. Mainly, you just need to look at the people who have been elected to run countries and their behaviors. Those are the spirits working through them to try to gain your consciousness. To try to gain your consciousness. So what does a spirit do? What's the purpose? Spirit is the foundation of all that exists. The progenitor of consciousness. I'll go into real quick what consciousness is, right? And so when a spirit wants to create an experience for itself, in our case, the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, otherwise known as Source Creator, right? The Divine Mother is actually she is the actual creator of this planet and the universe. The Divine Father plays a very important role. His role has been played right now in taking us to the next level of evolution. It's in his hands, right? But the Divine Mother created all of it and made it possible for us to be at this point. Now the Divine Father is going to take his children lovingly, after much peril, because I'm leaving a whole lot of stuff out. Because some of you might say, well, why is we've been through all this stuff and why is so much suffering and pain? We've had many wars. None of them recorded in our current history that we've had to go through. Something never experienced in any other universe. But part of the experience of the Divine Mother and Divine Father were those wars, were those situations. And now we're still here after all of that. Right? So on the first layer, there's spirit. Then the next layer, and this is, again, just to remind you, the creation of a system, i.e. planet or any other thing that can sustain life. That's the key, that can sustain life. So the first level of that is spirit. The next level are the elementals. Earth, air, water, fire, and ether. That's the next level after spirit. The next level after that is the mineral kingdom. Then after that, it's the plant kingdom. Then after that, it's the meat kingdom. And in each of them, spirit is involved. Right? In each of them. And then once that's created, a spirit will allow evolution to happen. In order for evolution to happen, that creation side has to happen. And many people argue they're either on one side or the other, creationist or evolutionist. The truth is, we have evidence of both. It's all kinds of evidence of evolution. So there's no denying it. But for that to happen, it all starts with a creator and a creation. It involves both. Then a planet is allowed, or a planet, or the thing that's created that sustains life, that can birth life and sustain it, then is given time to evolve. Right? In our case, we have our Earth is 4.5 billion years old. And I believe that to be true. The Earth, the universe, is older than that. Way older than that. But we've spent so much time to get to the point where we are today. To get where we are today. We have had so many civilizations on this planet. I'm talking about modern human beings. So many civilizations. We only know about a dropful. And I want you to defy those that tell you that civilization is 10,000 years old. It's laughable. Laughable. Finally. We've had civilizations that are way older than that. And then they purposely misstate, like, for example, the Egyptian civilization with the Sphinx, 25 years old, 25,000 years old. They don't talk about the people who carved them. They belittle them. They belittle them. And then we have the pyramids. They say the pyramids are 10,000 years old. No, the pyramids are at least 20 to... They could be 35,000 years old. There's no way they were made 10,000 years ago. We cannot remake the pyramids. With all the technology we have, we cannot remake the great pyramids of Giza. Cannot be remade. That's right. And the Library of Alexandria in Egypt burnt for 2 years. The books in there. Julius Caesar burnt them. It took 2 years. They never explain why he burnt them. They never explain it. Yeah, our history was in that. The planet's history was in that. But since my conjecture is, since they had nothing to do, the Romans and the Greeks were never mentioned in that. He burnt them. That's right. So we have had a whole lot more going on in this planet. And those things are inside of our DNA. Not lost. Physically, yes. They're inside of our DNA. And some of us wonder, we've been here and, I'm just a simple person, just a human being, one person, and we belittle ourselves, listening to the fools who belittle us. And so it's hard for some people to think that that we can actually evolve into the next level because we're lacking the knowledge of our own selves and where we came from. That's right. But it's going to finally burn out. And we're going to rise to the top. What I mean by that are those of us who actually do the work. Nobody gets a free pass. That's not how evolution works. But the complete opportunity is here. Senior says, which one is true between biblical explanation of creation and the scientists? Well, the Bible is completely incorrect. It tells you that the very several. You just need to read the book, the creation story in Genesis. It says the earth was made before the sun. Not possible. Do you not realize if our sun were to just go lights out, our oceans would be ice in 18 hours. In 18 hours, every ocean would freeze to ice from top to bottom. Not possible for the earth to be made before the sun. Lots of contradictions there. In the very first, it says in the beginning, Yahweh came and he separated the waters. And there was only darkness, and he separated the waters. Hold up. Stop right there. He's the creator, but the water was already here. Darkness was already here, and he was the creator. He showed up, and it was already there. He's not the creator. It tells on himself right there in the first few, at the very beginning. I've just given you two things that debunks that whole nonsense. And I'll give you a third. A woman comes from the rib of a man when every damn day you see how human beings are birthed onto the planet. So all of these creation stories are bunk. The spirit, the creator, the divine mother is the creator. And then after the creation happens, evolution then takes over. Because we have all kinds of scientific evidence of evolution. There's no denying. We're evolving right now. There are people, there's simple things, there are people not being born with a third molar in their mouths. It's no longer needed. We're evolving away from having 3 molars in our mouths. Evolution is always happening. So to deny it and deny the scientific evidence is just flat out stupidity. You shouldn't listen to any of those people and the books that they made up. including the one you mentioned. Good question, though. All things are possible. Bullseye. No, not all. That's another lie. All things are not possible. That's just repeating a thing from a book. You can't grow, you can't evolve and devolve at the same time. You can't love and hate at the very same minute and at the very same place and at the very same time and at the very same thing. It's either one or the other. So that's not true either. Right? So all of this then takes place where consciousness can grow. What is consciousness? Consciousness is simply the ingredients that make up all of existence. So if you're thinking about what's the ingredients, we got this reality. What would you call the ingredients that make up everything? What's that? The answer would be consciousness. And then I created earlier 2 corners, a consciousness corner and a corner for a cake. And I went through and I said, if you wanted to, let's build a cake. Let's make a cake. Let's bake a cake. And let's just pretend that this cake we're making, we're going to call it reality. And the ingredients that make that cake, we call consciousness. And so we got the ingredients and we baked this nice cake. Go over to the consciousness corner. And we then, the cake that we want to make is our reality, because that's all you have control over, your reality. And we want to make a better reality than the one we're experiencing. How do we do that? We raise our consciousness. And with better and higher consciousness, you make a higher and better reality. Well, how do you raise your consciousness? Right? Because if I stop there, just raise your consciousness. And you don't know what consciousness is, you don't know how to raise it, the conversation falls flat and nobody knows anything. So it's much more better to break it down into where it's completely simple, distill it down to its lowest form, easy to comprehend, understand. You want to raise your consciousness? You must go within. How do you go within? See, one question raises another. After an answer raises another. You start working on first all of the things that hold you back. Have you healed your inner child from the childhood trauma that was foisted upon you by those who were trusted to take care of you? And that includes parents, guardians, schools, institutions, your government. In certain places in the United States, like for example, West Virginia, 1 in 5 child will go starving because the government refuses to use the taxpayers' dollars that they're getting for the benefit of a child. Meanwhile, they got money for the boom booms, money for the billionaires, money for themselves, right? So that's a part of it too. So you have to deal, because they traumatized you at that point. So have you dealt with this traumatic, the trauma that's happening? Once you heal from that, your consciousness goes up multiple notches. When you connect with your inner child and you heal from those things. Did you heal from the stuff that other people did to you beyond that? Or the stuff that you allowed to be done to you, or the stuff that you did to yourself? Have you healed from that? Right? Have you connected with your ancestors, healed your ancestry, and created and built a relationship with your inner child, your ancestors, and your higher self? Doesn't matter where you start, because if you start at one, you start building it at all of them. Because they're all you, existing in different forms as yourself. Do that, and that's the important work, the most important work you'll do in raising your consciousness. And watch the reality that you create become better. Because of course, the purpose of the relationship between those aspects of yourself is so that they can guide you. It's different aspects of you guiding you. You are your best guide. But it's your ancestors who are you existing in a place where they are able to see beyond the limitations that you have by being in a body. So it's important that once you make that connection that you listen to them, right? Because they're your guides. But then it's also important, you're important to them because your role in the team is to experience and expand, and that's how they expand. It happens through you. You see how you're important and how they're important and how the relation dovetails into you raising your consciousness and becoming the best version of yourself? It takes the entire team. Your higher self, the captain, your ancestors, the coaches that guide you, and you, the player on the field. And the coach's advice is only as good as the player who wants to follow it. And I always also use this analogy. You are always going up against team life. Let's just call it team life. It could be anything. It's team life. If you don't build that relationship between yourself, you and your ancestors, you and your inner child, you and the captain, you're going to go out on the field all by yourself, and team life always has a full squad. Don't be wondering why you get run over when you've forgotten about your team. Go back and build the relationship with your team and heal with your team. Then team life doesn't stand a chance against you. Will using a mirror help build the relationship? It can if that's what makes it easy for you. But no. You don't need a mirror because all of these aspects are within you. What you need to do, more important than anything, is start talking to them. Don't worry about what the results of the conversation will be. Every day you talk to them. Because they show up to you in so many ways, but you don't recognize them as your ancestors because you expect them to look a certain way or do a certain thing, or maybe you've been taught that this is this and this and that. No. Your ancestors don't, maybe you've been taught, oh, give them offerings, do all this, do this for them. Your ancestors don't need you to do anything for them physical. If you're getting that, it ain't your ancestors that are asking for that. Your ancestors simply want to have a loving, caring relationship with you. They're not looking to get anything from you. They're looking to become a part and develop that team that is you and them, that then evolves you. And when you evolve, they evolve.
You already know your name.
The most important thing you need to do with your ancestors is talk to them. And you're probably hearing from them through me right now. Because I know every human being's ancestors. I know them. So when you ask a question like this, which is a great question, they speak directly to you through me.
No, I was joking.
And the first thing you need to do is start speaking to them. And then the answers will come. If not in a direct voice in your head, and maybe they can't talk to us directly because we've got too much stuff sitting in there. You can't even hear them. Too many belief systems, too many situations, too many distractions. So they bring you information through other people. They bring you information through a book that you look at and you just get this feeling that you need to get it. A conversation where you get a certain feeling and you kind of listen in. They're not restricted in how they talk to you, but they can only talk to you in a way that you can get it. Right? And once you do that, start talking to them, asking, communicating with them, and you communicate. This is the other thing. We got this rule. I want to talk to them about important things. No. You cooking dinner? Oh, should I put this much salt or this much pepper? It's that simple. Those things. That's what a relationship. When you have a relationship with a friend, think of it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you talk to that friend about anything? Oh man, I had this dream last night. Let me tell you about it.
Well, at least you're not
Should I have rice or should I have yams tonight? What do you guys think? That's the kind of relationship they want. The kind of relationship you would have with a best friend. That's the kind. And how do you start that? There has to be a time when you meet them. It starts with conversation. Then after a while you start talking, you invite that friend and you have a coffee together. Then after that, you're doing something. Hey, I'm going downtown. I'm doing this, doing that. You want to come with me? You're not just going to call that friend when you got problems. That's just how you do with your ancestors. And if the desire is strong enough, it'll happen. It has to be strong. It has to be high priority. And it has to be the most important thing that you want to establish in your life. That's where it needs to be. And if it's not there, it's not going to happen. Why? Because all kinds of things are going to come along to distract you from it. And things that don't get distracted are things that are at the highest priority. They are beyond distraction. But when they're somewhere in the middle, all kinds of distractions will come and you'll forget them or you'll put them off or you'll do all kinds of things if it's not number one. So that's where it needs to be. Must be number one, that relationship, and you must start talking to them. That's a good start. Then from there, everything comes. We teach an ancestral course in the community where we go deep and we knock away all kinds of cobwebs that are between you and them. Thank all of you who are here. Thank you for your daily heart needs and your participation and the 30,000 likes and shares that we have. I really, really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Interesting, Dimples, and I'm glad you stayed the whole time from beginning to end. But that's how you raise your consciousness. That's how you create a better life for yourself. Thank you, R.I. Thank you so much. That's how you do it. Right? It's simple, but not always easy. You see, simple and easy are two different things. But it's definitely simple. Miss Capricornian, if you want to get this live, just send me a DM with your email. I'm going to put it on YouTube, and then you can listen to it. Okay? So you can do that. So just DM me, and when I post it, I'll send you the link so you know when it's there. Sounds good? And anybody here can do that. Remember as well to sign up for the newsletter. And if you are interested in becoming a part of the spiritual community, it's myspiritualtribe.com, or you can also DM me for that. No worries. Yeah, just do that, and I'll send it to you. And I'll once I upload it, I'll just email you the link, and you go straight from that to it, because this is one of my most important lives, I think. Why? Because it's about you. That's why. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you being here. And I'll be back again Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much.